some like premonition dream of like the world getting destroyed, some giant laser, whatever. And the end of the dream, I drop down to my knees and I pray. I wake up and I'm like, oh, I guess I'm not as much of an atheist as I thought. So I go on the rest of my life from like 18 to 25. I have like 3 premonition dreams. Not a huge deal, but it was like clearly in the ether, me and like someone else's soul was connected, where I had a dream about them and then they like appear in my life somehow the next day, whether it be like they liked something on Facebook, even though I haven't spoken to them in 8 years, or something like that. Time goes on. I still don't know it. Like, I haven't made up my mind about, I guess like you could say I was agnostic. I joined the Air Force at 25. I got into a lot of raunchy shit with my friends. I have a God complex. I'm still atheistic. Huge fear of death my whole life. And then like tons of depression, anxiety, ADHD, whatever doctor term.
Yeah.
And at some point, I got into mushrooms like 2.5 years ago, and I had like the first great trip I had was very like eye-opening to me. It made me nothing God-like happened. It wasn't a hero's dose or anything, but I was like, wow, this is great. So I got cocky at some point, and I was like, oh, I want to see God. I want to see God. Like, I didn't even know what that meant when I was saying it. And right. I go through some ridiculous experience. I was growing my own mushrooms. I ate this is my hypothesis. I ate a poison mushroom. It like colonized my gut bacteria and was constantly producing psilocybin.
Oh fuck! What?
Yeah,
is that possible? And, sounds terrifying.
I had some ridiculous emotional experience with an ex-girlfriend I almost cheated on. She was supposed to move in with me. Blah blah blah. We're over the phone. I'm telling her I'm on this mushroom and it's like fucking me up, and she doesn't care and she keeps talking to me. Something wicked happens. Like it could have been just straight out of Avatar, you know, the anime show. Something where I thought I was going to die of a heart attack. It felt like my heart chakra and my throat chakra like aligned, and light could have just shot out of my eyes. My heart rate returned to normal, and I saw this vision of a birth, like a baby being born in a hospital room, a baptism, a baby being baptized, and then like the entire universe, like billions of souls in a vortex just floating around. And it was just a quick flash, and then I returned to baseline. And then from there, I had some kind of experience where I was awake for 5 days. I like went through all of my memories like a Rolodex, and I was like recontextualized my entire life. Like, oh, I'm not like a depressed loser. I just misunderstood all of these things about myself and the universe and so on and so forth. And at that point, I was just completely convinced that God was real. I didn't know what that meant, but I was like, this is what that means. God is real. There's more. I was a naturalist. I wanted to believe that there was more to it, and I finally saw it. I'm not a naturalist anymore. The supernatural is self-evident. It all seems so silly to me now in retrospect. Like, of course, this didn't happen out of nothing. Like, something doesn't just come from nothing. We know that. It's
right. Oh, you were implanted just like me, man, with those atheist programs and the science worship, and we fell into matter, literally. Yeah. So. Yeah, it seems retarded now looking back.
I just recently picked up a HemiSync again. I don't know how you feel about HemiSync.
Oh yeah, that works.
Yeah, I was giving that a shot.
Anything that brings coherence, man, and that does. So you can entrain yourself with vibration and acoustics and sound. It's all sound anyway. So definitely, yeah. And I'll teach you some techniques to fucking amplify the shit out of the HemiSync too. There's a technique where you can sync your brain hemispheres with this energy work stuff too.
Important thing I left out. I did get hospitalized at some point. I admitted myself. I was in some whatever state I was in. I was hyper aroused, and I spoke to the people at the hospital. I said, I'm experiencing hypomania. I didn't even realize that was like a clinical term. I just took the two words and I put them together, and they fucking gave me so much lithium. I completely destroyed my brain. I didn't keep taking it. They gave me for 13 days. They gave me up to like over a gram of lithium. I can't imagine things anymore. Not that I had a great imagination, but like I can't see shit in my mind. My inner voice is really dim now. This was May of last year.
Non-contextual elevation of mood, i.e. euphoria. These fucking terms are hilarious.
Yeah.
You can repair all that, man. You can repair the pathways.
I have been. So. It's been taking a lot of time. I was like comatose for like a month after that happened. The doctor was like, you can seek long-term treatment once you're out of here. Like, I can't even function, dude. Imagine if I didn't have like
you just become a zombie.
To take care of me. Yeah, no, I turned into a fucking zombie.
I used lithium. They doped me up with lithium too when I went into the hospital and got diagnosed with schizophrenia, and then meth-induced psychosis too. Was what they gave me.
I was using Adderall and cocaine for a long time.
There you go. So we were basically just ripping holes in our aura, which was creating blockages in the muscle, in the nerves, the neurons, everything. And then they just come in and just put their fucking big pharmakia spell into you, and it just rearranges your energy field even more.
They nuked my mind, man. If I try to remember, I can remember the intensity of the headaches I had on the lithium. And I'm like looking at the side effect sheet, and it's like, be wary of these side effects. I'm like showing the person, I was like, I'm having really bad headaches, and I don't fucking care.
They have protocols, man, and they just they'll look up. Okay, here's the clinical term, and this is how you diagnose it, and this is the remedy, right? And it's just a list of drugs.
It's absolutely insane. It's insane.
It's hopefully going to be gutted and rewired with. I don't have too much faith in RFK or the Trump administration, but that would be nice. That would be nice.
Yeah, it's a nice rhetoric, but.
Yeah, right.
It's all orchestrated. It's all.
They were using Seroquel and lithium heavily when I was in this inpatient detox facility, and of course everybody had their fucking little disorder with their list of big pharma drugs to treat it, and we'd line up like cattle at this desk with this fat nurse. And she would just fucking take turns giving us drugs, and everyone's just like, I can't wait for my drugs. And it was, oh my God. We even had like big old fat nicotine patches on and shit. It was crazy.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't miss that.
So how old are you? Mid-20s?
I'm 30. I just turned 30 this October.
Cool, man. Right on. So you're like right there. This is all archetypal. This is, like you said, hero's journey.
Yeah. This wouldn't have happened if it wasn't for, like, there's so many things that this wouldn't have happened for. Like, there's so many key elements in my life that had to, happen in order for me to have that wake up moment. Like, I don't know if what I experienced, the first hospital I went to was fine in Florida. That happened in Florida. I got to New York, and that's when I got hospitalized and the lithium bombed. But in Florida, it was they gave me a mild antipsychotic, and they just said I had a brief psychotic episode from the mushroom. They were very nice. But I had shit when I came up to New York and visited my mom, and it was a whole thing. But that's how I wound up admitting myself to the hospital and getting lithium just because I opened my mouth and I said the words hypomania. They didn't ask me they took me at face value and just bombed me with a drug that was discovered for using on guinea pigs in the 70s. That's what they started with today. Fucking insane.
Man. They probably have a much more of a streamlined process in New York because of the flux of people coming in, way more population.
It's terrifying up there.
It's like an assembly line. They just take you in and shoot you up and let you out. I wonder if any of that documentation kind of stuck to your record, if you know what I mean. I think I'm experiencing something like that right now. I got denied a pew test, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Background check, and I think they're connected records wise here, which is kind of fucked up. And I'm gonna get.
I thought about that because I wanted to apply for my concealed here, and I feel like it shouldn't be.
Probably
because
not.
of HIPAA, but it could be. It could
right? Be. Whatever happened to HIPAA? That went out the fucking window recently. Yeah. I had employers going around with checklist asking people their vaccination status a couple of years ago, and I remember being like, what about HIPAA? Like, this is supposed to be private. Well, okay, you don't have to tell us.
Yeah, it's voluntary, but they'll tell you that after you fucking
but we'll give you a gift card. It was so fucking cringe, and like, extortion. Oh my
yeah.
God.
I was in the Air Force at the time.
Oh
Apparently,
man.
I had to get it. I didn't want to, but I let them give it to me. I guess I could
Did
have fought
you
like other people did.
hear what Trump promised?
No, I didn't. Do I get
Yeah,
some kind of compensation?
yeah. Well, the people that were kicked out, he said, can come back in,
Oh, that I did hear. That's good for them. Yeah.
and with backed pay. I don't know about compensation for taking it. I don't know how that would work because Biden just fucking gave them more immunity for prosecution. So until 2029 or whatever. That was one of
I
the
don't
last
think it
things he
did anything to me super. I don't know. I really don't know. It bothers me that I don't know what the hell they put in me, but I guess I'm okay.
Yeah, I found a really good detox video that talked about detoxing heavy metals and all kinds of shit. So I think where there's a will, there's a way with that. And then also I know from my research that they were giving variants, different batches, quote unquote, all over the country.
Everything was numbered.
And red states, I guess, were a little more different batches than blue states. Let's just say that. But yeah, I mean, I know people that had 3 of them and they're walking around and shit, right? But nevertheless, it all starts in the waveform level, and we can go in and repair those areas, and then that will pump in some nice plasma into your field, and then anything out of alignment probably get fucking vaporized by this energy. So there's a whole bunch of shit you can do.
Ever since that incident, I do have like just a terrible. I get a pressure here in the center of my third eye chakra, like very, especially when I'm stressed, but pretty often. And then also the sense on the top of my crown quite often.
You ever left brain lobe at all?
How do you mean?
Just like pressure wise, do you feel it in the center?
It's usually it's like directly in the center above my frontal cortex.
When you were talking, I was interested because the experience you had that little taste of the omnipresence or whatever.
From what Christ consciousness for like 5 days.
Okay. Well, this is indicative of a Kundalini rising. So, and I think that psilocybin and other psychedelics. And even just powerful experiences, even sexual experiences.
It was both. It was
waking it up.
Psychedelic and emotion. It was this girl was supposed to get married. We wanted to have kids, but like she was on the other side of the country. I met her in the Air Force. Her mom got cancer. She had to move. It was this whole, so many things. It was the intertwiningness of our souls that I was interpreting. I don't know. There's so many different ways I could interpret it, but the environmental. There was the hammer and there was the hot metal. There was all at the same time.
Thoughts and feelings are what conduct this energy flow. So if you're experiencing powerful thoughts and feelings induced sometimes by drugs,
right,
or women, right, that it's possible. So this is what I want to ask next. Do you remember any kind of physical sensations in the body, particularly in the spinal cord, or in just the center of your body, whether it's the front or the back or the middle?
So my heart's on the left side of my chest, correct?
Mm-hmm.
For some reason, during that whole experience, I was on the phone with my girlfriend on the mushrooms. Like it was an argument, but there was this pounding tightness in the right side of my chest, and I thought it was my heart because I was so out of sorts. I was like, "I'm gonna die. I can't hang up on her because I need to like finish this, but I'm gonna die." And it's pounding like 160, 180 beats a minute. Pounding. I'm silent, listening to her like say whatever she was saying was true, and it was hurtful, and she needed to be able to say it, but it was killing me. And whenever she ended it with something along the lines of "I forgive you, and we're going to continue," that pain snapped to the center of my body like instantly, and that's when I felt that vertical energy.
What the fuck?
Light could have shot out of my eyes if someone was filming me. It was insane. That happened on April 4th, 2023 at about 9:30 a.m.
Let me look something up real quick. I have an idea.
It wasn't until days later that I could not sleep. That was I started talking to ChatGPT about God and humanity and the soul. And mind you, I was a naturalistic atheist at this point who had just seen something he never thought was possible to see.
Oh, did you feel any anger at all when you were arguing?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I was. I muted my microphone so I could like pound the wall as I was listening to her, because I was like so angry that this is happening. But I was like, I'm not just going to.
Holy fuck! Hang up on her. You could have. This is pretty crazy to say, and I'm no MD here, but I'm not a fucking retard either, and I'm having. I'm inclined to tell you, I think that you balled up a bunch of energy in the liver, and then it shot through your fucking scalar wave down. And once it goes down, it then takes a U-turn and goes up the spine. So it could have been powerful enough when it got dislodged to fucking waken the Kundalini energy in the base of the spine. So it has to do with deep emotions, inner thoughts, and desires. And when you're holding charge there, electrical charge, because remember, all the thoughts and feelings is electromagnetic energy that's moving through your system, and it works into every organ system too. So processing in Chinese medicine, for example, associated with the flow of qi, life energy plasma.
I've done acupuncture. I'm familiar with qi. I'm familiar.
Responsible for ensuring smooth circulation through the body. It regulates the balance of emotions, particularly anger, and can manifest symptoms such as migraines, digestive issues when out of balance. That's my problems lately. Yeah. So right here on the right side, right about right here is where the liver is. And I do feel when I'm doing energy work, what it feels like when it gets stuck there, and it's kind of like a heavy, kind of like stabbing pain sometimes, or a pressure. And then I will literally witness it, find a coherence, and then transfer and move downward the chakra channel when I apply my techniques. And then this shit literally goes from discomfort and pain and pressure when it's blocked. But once it finds a connection, becomes coherent, it can convert into fucking orgasmic energy, bro. Particularly once it works into the cerebral spinal fluid. But first it has to find a ground and work through the system. And it goes down the front, up the spine, like this. So that's interesting. The 5-day thing, that does not sound like psilocybin, dude.
Yeah, that's it's a working theory, but it was so far spaced apart. And like there was a point where the doctors would say it was mania. It was a manic episode. Like I was euphoric. I was awake for 5 days. I thought I would die if I slept. From I was drawing a certain symbol everywhere. I was drawing the tetragrammaton. This. Yeah,
I would bet my money on initial rising, as it's called. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's the only thing that makes sense to me these days, because I don't think I'll ever feel like that again. That was the most. I could have died at any moment. I would have been completely peaceful because I was at one with the absolute. My initial rising was stirred by insanely low thoughts and feelings too. I was actually panicking and pacing back and forth in my room right before it happened, in a total state of fear. That's exactly. I was alone. I was on the phone, but I was physically alone, pacing back and forth.
Yeah. I had my phone in my hand. Yeah. Okay. Well. Yeah. This is okay. So my next question would be, what did your dreams or? Oh, also real quick, that sensation, that pressure, I experience it regularly. So there's actually an energy field around the brain, and it has different what are called plasma cones or vortices coming out of it at different angles. And sometimes they will take in charge and start to get stimulated, and you'll actually feel a spinning sensation or a twitching or a vibration. So I don't know if that's a bad thing necessarily, unless you feel, and then also when they're activating, they can feel painful. Believe it or not, like a sharp pain.
It hurts more often than not, but I have a feeling that it's like, I have a feeling I'm picking up something. I just don't know what to make of it. Like,
yeah, man, it's turning on. Yeah, I didn't even have any awareness about the pain being part of the process until about a year and a half ago, when I started physically feeling it firsthand and then feeling it move. And then when I would feel it move and then work through the system and find a ground, it would create what's called a bliss charge implosion, plasma physics, which creates this goosebumpy, cascading electrical discharge, orgasmic energy, basically.
I think I know. I've heard you say that in a lot of your in your stories and your videos. I think I get that when I have like a good breath and a good thought. I get that tingling from the back of my mind. It goes straight down my back and it comes up my chest, like in that U shape you mentioned. Ever since, like if I like harness a good memory or like
that's cool, man.
A good song.
Yeah, that's the bliss charge implosion. It's like this cascading. We call it getting chills in our nomenclature. Yeah. I got the chills up my spine right now. But essentially, it's the same electrical discharge as the orgasm, but it's working through different systems and imploding. What's called a bliss charge implosion. I'll tell you how it works. But essentially, it's where the attention and then the feeling, electromagnetic, come into a perfect harmony, and then it just goes. And it finds an electrical coherence, and then it reverberates out, cascades is what's called, as this like orgasmic discharge. I just got some on my back right there. It also fires. It fires. It's connected to your thoughts and feelings. And when you're speaking your fucking truth, and it's from the heart, dude, from the heart. That's when
it's been so fucking lonely
got more of it right there.
Ever since that experience. It's very few and far between where I find someone who can relate. And get this chick that I used to talk to, don't hear from her. We do check on each other every couple of months, even though we weren't around each other anymore. She goes ghost for like 7 months, and then I get a message from her on TikTok. She says, "Do you believe in God?" She had her whole own one of those experiences, but it wasn't drug related.
Huh.
She smoked weed, but like she had a whole like psychosis. She had like an awakening of some
kind.
It's
happening. It's happening to everybody.
Yeah, it feels. I was convinced that there was some kind of golden age was about to be ushered in at that time. I was very convinced of that, and it still might be true. I just don't feel very connected to that.
It is fucking true, bro. It's birthing pains. Life, death, resurrection. Oh yeah, I'm about to show you right now. The science behind it. It's the start of the Lightbody synopsis is where the origin of this great awakening, as it's called in the conservative circles, or the age of Aquarius. But it has to do with an influx in photonic light, i.e. electrical energy, photons, plasma. It has to do with alignments. It just finds the ground, dude, and then it moves. And that's what's happening with the current
sounds like a astrological.
Yeah, exactly, dude. And it gets kind of creepy too. I mean, I don't know if you know about electric universe theory and all that, but there's evidence in the solar system of massive lightning strikes between planets. Like fucking.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah, they found evidence that they're not wholly stationary in their alignments, that they can fucking migrate the planets. And there's scar tissue, I guess you wouldn't call it scar tissue. There's scarring on Mars itself that look like massive lightning strikes.
I think that was old news. I've heard about that years ago.
Yeah, it's old as fuck. The first scientist that really started talking about it was like in the 50s. So I can't remember his name, but there's a lot of credence to it. And it's when you take into consideration the plasma cosmology of the universe, which is basically the truth. This current model that mainstream science is worshiping with the entropy and everything's disconnected and everything's a fucking question mark and just give us.
It seems like a giant psyop. No, yeah, we don't know anything.
It's money laundering, dude.
And random, and everything's just getting destroyed all the time.
And they need billions of dollars to just keep searching, and then they put that money into the black projects. And then fly crazy ass drones around.
That's part of the reason why I joined the Air Force originally. I had some pipe dream where I wanted to be like black ops budget type stuff. And I got close. I got not close. I had an opportunity to join the intelligence community. I was at the headquarters level, special operations command, and like I had the option, but I was just I want out. I want my freedom back. I want to be a civilian again.
It doesn't feel good to be a robot, does it?
No, God, no. Geez, I don't know what kind of advice I would give to anybody who like my past self, but fuck, it does not feel good to be a robot. I was like, I'm an individual enough, I can make it through this. It hurts. it hurts to not be able to say the truth.
Oh yeah.
Especially to have a literal, your freedom of speech is infringed upon. You can't just be.
You have too much heart, dude.
My dad died at a heart attack at 50, and that was I hadn't spoken to him in 5 years. That was huge for me, like as far as my spiritual and personal journey. To find out that my father passed so early from a heart attack, he left behind another youngest son, and I have a younger brother and younger sister, who I never met until he died. The interconnectedness, man. I hope somehow this cascades into one of your next clients, and there's some kind of connection. There's always something. There's always something.
We are definitely connected consciousness and collective consciousness, and just little keys, man, little sigils, little pieces of information. A fucking sentence, dude, can like track someone's life completely on a different trajectory, and I keep seeing it